2019-2020 school year. Today we are here to honor Black excellence and the truthfulness of Black culture.
February is the month we acknowledge and commemorate all Black figures in history.
From civil rights leaders, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and John Lewis,
to poets, Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, and Langston Hughes.
To musicians, Duke Ellington, Prince, and Beyonce.
Like me. Also, Black figures in STEM, such as George W. Carver, Katherine Johnson, and Madam C.J. Walker.
And in the government, Shirley Chisholm and Obama. All of their contributions have impacted our society.
And for that, we say thank you. But before we continue, we would like to remember those of the Black community that have recently passed. Nipsey Hussle, an entrepreneur and motivator whom worked hard to make a difference in his corrupt community.
Kobe and Gigi Bryant, two basketball players who made a legendary impact on all sports players from young to old.
And John Witherspoon, an actor, entertainer, and comedian who many remember as his lead role, Pops.
These wonderful souls have impacted the Black community throughout plenty of ways and will always live through us.
As we start our month off, we, Beyond Limits Known Group, has put together this assembly to share our own experience of being Black in today's modern society. Enjoy!
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Kyla Bercy, and I created this video for you all to not only celebrate Black History Month, but to also celebrate us as a community and recognize the impact that Black history has had on our lives. This video may only be 5 minutes, but it took me a long week of sleepless nights and dedication to make it my best. Thank you to the administration for giving the Beyond Limits Known Club this platform. Thank you to BLK for allowing me to create my vision. And thank you to all of those from Mrs. Betby's to Ms. Carpenter and all of the people outside and within the video for supporting me through this process of bringing my vision to life. I now present to you our Black History Month video for 2020. Thank you and enjoy.
Hey Morgan, what you working on? This AP Calculus assignment for this minute was late. AP Calculus is kicking my... It's okay. My girl can do math. I love AP Calculus. Oh, Jada, there are 18 days until Valentine's Day. Do you have any fun plans? Oh, it's February already? That means the Black History Month assembly is coming up. I wonder who they're going to put on stage this year.
What does that have to do with plans for Valentine's Day? Maybe she's just trying to avoid my question. Or maybe they combine Black History Month and Valentine's Day here. If so, what does she mean who's going to be on stage? I hope it has something to do with the guys from NBA.
Hey guys. Wait, Jen, what do you mean by who's going to put on stage? Does it have to do with something with NBA?
NBA? What are y'all talking about?
She's talking about the Black History Month assembly.
Oh yeah, last year the speaker, let's just say she had a mind of her own.
No, just a boring speaker. You know what? I don't see why people celebrate Black History Month anyways.
An annual celebration designated to the achievements and significant contributions of African Americans throughout U.S. history. On August 28, 1963, during his famous speech, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "I
have a dream
that one day
this nation will rise up
and live out the true meaning of its creed.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that
all men are created equal. I have a dream that
one day every valley shall be exalted.
Every hill and mountain shall be made low.
The rough places will be made plain.
And the crooked places will be made straight.
And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed.
And all flesh shall see it together.
Dr. King's speech was given over 50 years ago, and still, to this day, we are working toward the dream of equality. His contributions amongst Maya Angelou's, Harriet Tubman's, Jesse Owens's, and countless others have helped us progress to where we are today. They are why we celebrate Black History Month.
The month of Black History was initially Negro History Week. In 1926, this national week was orchestrated by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. The ASALH was founded in 1915 by historian Carter G. Woodson and minister Jesse E. Moreland. These gentlemen desired to create an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent. Why choose February? Is it because it's the shortest month of the year? No. The week chosen to be the annual National Negro History Week was the second week of February, as it coincided with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. In the decades that followed its origin, mayors of cities across the country began issuing yearly proclamations recognizing National Negro History Week. By the 1960s, the Black Awakening dramatically expanded the consciousness of African Americans about the importance of Black history, and the Civil Rights Movement focused Americans of all color on the subject of the contributions of African Americans to our history and culture. Finally, in 1976, President Gerald Ford officially recognized February as Black History Month, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Since then, each American president has issued African American History Month proclamations, and the association, now the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, continues to promote the study of Black history all year. So, how can we celebrate Black History Month? Recognition.
Recognizing the power of love.
Recognizing that we are all a part of God's creation.
Recognizing Jesus Christ within one another.
Recognizing that we are sisters and we are cultivating equality starting at SCA.
One girl at a time.
We now welcome our own seniors to answer questions you might have about what it's like to be African American. The panel will be moderated by Dr. Myron Joyce. Dr. Joyce received her doctorate in school administration from Vanderbilt University. She has over 30 years of experience as a teacher and principal. In addition to teaching at Vanderbilt and Belmont, she was the first urban specialist for the Tennessee State Department of Education. She was instrumental in bringing the Hope Scholarship to Tennessee and served as the director of the Tennessee Education Lottery Scholarship Program. Dr. Joyce has a way of uplifting others while pushing them towards their best. I'm pleased to introduce my aunt, Dr. Myron Joyce, along with Kayla Bursey, Roni Steve Bay, Janae Griffin, Morgan Harvell, De'Aaron Walker, and Jayla Williams Ridley.
We're going to come to the side. I've spent too many years behind a podium. So every chance I get, I'm on the side. And you're safe. There are only two places I can think of where you're safe. One is on the side, and the other is on the other side. Now you're safe. But this morning, we're not going to be safe. Okay? We want to roll up our sleeves. I need a yellow sweater. We want to roll up our sleeves. And we want to get some things answered. Now, I am about 2 years older since the last time I was here. So I'm going to have a seat. But we don't want to be safe. And we're not going to be on the side. And we're not going to mess up. Because if we do, we'll be in next year's video with the ones that didn't get it right again. Let me just share a little bit with you with Eric Qualman before we start. I want you to really think about this. Why does history repeat itself? It's as though we're going over this same thing over and over, and I can only wait till the month of February. Because it seems as though we're repeating ourselves. Eric Qualman has the answer to why does history repeat itself. You have beautiful eyes. Where'd you get those eyes from? Eric Qualman said, why does history repeat itself? And why are we talking about the same thing over and over again? And here's the answer. Because he said, someone did not listen the first time. Now, as an old professor, I borrowed from Eric Qualman, and I said, why does history repeat itself? And I said, because someone went to sleep on me. And so since we're not being safe, don't you even think about sleeping on me, because you can ask my students at Belmont. I will say, and that's like, I see you sleeping. Now, with those few ground rules, God, that was beautiful. Both of you will be ready to host the Oscars. Wonderful narration. Why do we find ourselves here again? We're not going to be safe. I've gone through all the periods of Negro history. I thought about that coming. My birth certificate says Negro. My FAFSA says, I'm not going to even answer that question because I was one rebellious 1970 student ready to go to college with an afro too big to get in the door. But why did I need to be so noticed? Kyle, what was my call? Why did I wear a black armband every day? Even my dad said, you're just a little bit too rebellious for the whole family. And I would only respond, what do you mean, Dad? I've got enough oppression on me. I don't need this conflict. And my mother would say, in silence, she's at it again. Are you black enough? Have you ever had a thirst where a fountain that was labeled colored and one for white would really make a difference to quench your thirst? Well, let's see what's on your minds. Because I'll tell you, I did that as a little child. I didn't know what colored water meant. I had on all white that day, so I chose not to drink from the colored water, but to drink from the white water. Because, it was about matching. And while on the sideline, my dad almost had an asthma attack. And I was like, Dad, you need to really get that breathing stuff checked out. Your hair, the curl of your lip, the swing and swag of your hip, you're all represented by everything. And with the black race, or the African American race, you've got to cover it and carry it all, my sisters. So we're not going to do the round robin. It's your turn to read, now you and you. But we're going to keep them on their toes. So as you want to spill into this and not be safe, let your voice fill the air with the question. Is that okay? But I'm going to start, Kyla, with you this time. And I hope you don't play it safe. Because, sister, I don't want to bring you out. But let's start with your crown. Are you defined by your hair, or the way you walk, or the way you talk?
Honestly, I don't think hair specifically defines me, because when I especially came to SEA, I shared with these ladies how comfortable I was to find myself and detach myself from my hair. Because it would be odd to say, like, it's kind of weird that in a predominantly white environment I was able to do that versus a predominantly black environment at my old school where everyone wore long weaves, just had to conform to the identity there. But here I was able to define myself. So I don't think I'm defined by my hair or the way that I walk, but just the way that I carry myself and how I present myself to you all and what I want you to perceive, other than the color of my skin, the length of my hair, and everything else that you may judge me by.
I had an opportunity where someone actually asked a very fair question. And because we're not playing it safely, okay, we're going to ask those things that are on the minds of others. Now, I hope the answer to this next question is going to be no, because they don't appear to be as old as I am, but I don't know. They may not say no. Have you ever had an opportunity where you felt the answer was no or yes, or you're not invited, or oh, here she comes, or we don't have any openings? Have you ever had an experience where you felt race defined the answer?
Personally, I haven't, which is good.
Well, I'm not playing it safe, and I'm not going to stop. Pass that mic down. Because this question is here, and I'm looking for an answer.
Personally, I've been in predominantly white schools my whole life. So in elementary school, a lot of the times I would be excluded from like parties or gatherings that the majority of the grade were invited to, or parents would look at me differently, or like have to do the extra security checks before a student can come to my house or things like that.
I didn't. I went to public school and it was predominantly black and Hispanic, so I didn't really face anything like that. And when I got here, I kind of excluded myself.
experience on the other way around. When I came here, I built up this wall as I'm not going to define myself. I'm not going to conform. It's not good, but I'm not going to conform to them because I've experienced in my life where I've tried to change myself, like as I said in my old school, to the people that were there. And I haven't been in an environment like this before, so I was just building up a wall and I was looking at black and white. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to, and I created just an inferiority upon myself to you all because I had that wall built up and the barriers there that I couldn't allow myself to get to know you all. And once I decided to do that this year, I've learned that it really doesn't matter because we're all human, we all come from God, and we all experience the same problems every day.
I haven't faced it particularly. I came into St. Cecilia a little bit different how you did, with an open mind. I came sophomore year, and I kind of just was open to meeting new people. I thought St. Cecilia would be a great opportunity for me to just be in an environment that I wasn't necessarily comfortable in, or that I wasn't used to because I did come from a public school. I wasn't Catholic, and I didn't go to an all-girls school. So I saw this opportunity as a way for me to kind of meet more people and see other people from different walks of life, regardless of how they would like treat me, just to like be open to any experience. So
I personally have not felt that or have been treated like that. See, like Morgan coming to St. Cecilia, I came with an open mind because I wanted to get a new experience because I was in public school my whole life. So in public school, I kind of separated myself there, but coming here, I was more open.
Is St. Cecilia a safe place for African American students? And we're going to deal with the term so that we're just not throwing that out as African American students. I don't want to put a blanket around it and say students of color. But do you feel safe here as a student of a cultural identity as being Afrocentric or African American? And in answering that, how do you refer to yourself? Because I'm with European professors day in and day out. And after I took off the armband and realized it didn't really match everything I had on, and that people would move from me rather than toward me, I became pretty okay to deal with by 1975. But because it was a year and period in this nation of asking questions, like, here you go, what are you going to do? Now that you're out there, are you black? Are you Negro? What would you prefer to be called, Myron? Because we don't want to cause any trouble here. Inside of that, tell me, how do you refer or how do you introduce yourself? I don't want to be mistaken just because your face may look like me. How do you refer to yourself?
Well, personally, one, I do feel safe here. I don't feel like anybody is biased towards me or like attacks me in any type of way, which is really great that I've had that experience. And then also, I refer to myself as black, just because I feel as if now African American kind of is a name that you would call someone who is from Africa. I know a lot of people from Africa, like my friend, she's Nigerian, and she would classify as African American or Nigerian American or whatever because she came from Africa. But for me, as a black person, I feel like black is a wider name for or it covers a lot more than just an African American. It covers people from the African diaspora in general. So I feel as if black would be a proper name for me. So that's just my take on it.
Just to touch on the name of black or African American, I also refer to myself as black, but I noticed on a lot of official documents that I'm technically African American versus the way that Morgan explained it, because they define blacks as Pacific Islanders or other regions like that. I don't think it really matters to me as long as I know who I am and I know what color I am. So
I just say I'm African American because my parents are both from Zimbabwe, but I'm American cultured, so.
I just say I'm black. I feel safe here.
I also just go by black because, like they said, African American is mostly like for people from Africa, and so I feel like black is just what I should be called.
It's different. I don't think I've ever asked that question before, but it obviously came from a student that just wanted to know. And basically, across all lines, whether you're green, brown, yellow, or whatever you might refer to yourself, people seemingly want the same thing from each of us. We seemingly want to be loved. We seemingly want to have a space. You know, it's like a chair. Have you ever come to a chair that was empty, unoccupied, but someone maybe looked at you and said, there is someone sitting in that chair? Have you ever had that to happen to you?
Actually, I have this time. And then it turns out nobody's sitting in that chair. So, yeah.
But now, did you feel that someone was sitting in that chair and it was not you because you were African American and prefer for you not to sit down beside me?
Yes, most definitely. Even though I knew nobody was going to sit in that chair anytime soon. But, I mean, at that moment of time, you just have to, like, take it and go. Like, don't say anything back. Like, just don't pay attention to the ignorance because, like, you can't do anything about other people's mindsets and, like, how they feel. You just go on about your way and hold your head high.
Oh, sister, they're smarter. They're smarter. I probably would have been in the principal's office. You know, I would take them up on that. What do you mean? That chair is empty. And then what you're waiting for, your friend and not me? But what I hear is quite differently than maybe how I lived my life. Must there be a fight every time the chair is really empty? And maybe it's true. Someone else is going to sit there. Oh, let's continue because we're not going to be safe. Now this one really, I had to really pray on this one. Okay, amen. I'm still in prayer. I don't have the answer to it yet. Would you rather be anything else than what you are right now in this place, African American, black? Have you ever wanted to change your identity?
We have to speak the truth because next year, somebody else might be up here. So we have to check the truth.
Personally, right now, definitely not. I love myself and I love my culture. When I was a lot younger, like I said before, I went to predominantly white schools, and for the longest time, I was one of the only black people in that entire school. So therefore, I wanted to conform to other people and how they did things and like how they dressed and things of that sort. So yeah, I definitely had nights where I would sit at home and be like crying to my mom, like, why am I black? Like, why am I like this? Like, no one wants to be around me, things of that sort. But it's like I had to grow and I had to, like my family told me, it's like, you're beautiful. It's like, you have to, like, you'll understand, like, later on, it's like, it's just adolescence, you know? It's like, when you're younger, you don't necessarily see everything that's right in front of you like that.
My freshman year, since I went to public school, I never really had an identity crisis or anything. I was confident with myself and the people around me and my culture. And my freshman year coming here, I took a math summer program, and I had my hair in an afro. I used to love my natural hair. It was like my favorite thing. I did everything with it. And it was the first day, and I came in and I was sitting down, and there were some girls sitting behind me. And then when class started, they were like, "What does the board say?" And I could hear them whispering behind me. One of the girls was like, "I don't know, I can't see behind this mess in front of me." And I was like, I guess like, and it's because I took that class by myself. I didn't take it with my sister, and we had done everything together until that moment. And it like kind of made me look around and say, everybody here has straight hair, it's light curl. My hair is like, I don't have long hair. My hair comes to right here maybe. And like everybody here is wearing the same jacket. They all have on these Nike shorts. I have on leggings and like this jacket from Ross. And like, that's the only time that I kind of started my crisis within myself. But now I wouldn't change anything about me. I love my hair. I'm getting back to it. And
I haven't necessarily wanted to change my race, but I have wanted to change like almost a lot of stuff about me. Like my height, as a girl, I love that. But my skin, I did not become like a different race, but I always wanted to be, I'm already light, but like lighter, because my sister, she's like really light, and she's really pretty to me. So I just really followed after her, and I wanted to be just like her. I wanted to be a little shorter. I wanted to be a little skinnier. I wanted to be this and that, and that just created a whole type of identity crisis within myself as well. And as I've grown to love myself over the years that I came here, I really didn't want to be anything else other than me. I did struggle with my hair a little bit, but like I said, once I got here and realized that you all really don't care about like what people think about you, why should I? So that's when I just took that as motivation and inspiration to grow into myself even more.
Well, I've never wanted to change my skin per se, but just more so my body. As I grew up, it was more like I developed more in like the chest area, and I found like a lot of clothes wouldn't fit me as like I would want them to fit, and I like a lot of models and all that other stuff that I find on social media or people that I'm like, oh, like they look really good in those clothes. If I try to wear them, they don't look that good on me. And I kind of just, I don't know, I used to joke and say like, oh, like I would get like a breast reduction or something like that, because I don't know, I just didn't like that. And my mom had to tell me that like people are more curvier, like black people generally are more curvier, and you shouldn't want to buy clothes that obviously don't fit your body. Like that's not, that you shouldn't want to do that and stuff like that. And I had to learn to like not want to do that, I guess, and accept myself in that way. But yeah, my identity crisis didn't come from like black and white, more so like the term black and white, like the actual label of it was more so my identity crisis rather than like wanting to be a certain race, because I felt I wasn't accepted as either like as a black person with black people or white people. I felt like I was just kind of in the middle, even though I was black. So for like a really long time, like even till this year, it was really hard for me to like even do like my college essays, like to define yourself. It was really hard because I, for the longest time, didn't feel accepted by like any of my peers as either being too white for black people or too black for white people. So it was really hard for me to just come to terms with that. I'm fine now. But before, like earlier this year, it just was really hard to accept myself. But yeah.
I particularly have been pretty confident in myself for a very long time, except for like when I was in third grade or something, like third and fourth grade, my friends would go swimming because it would be spring, and then I couldn't go swimming because I couldn't get my hair wet. So that would be about like I wanted my hair to be straight and stuff so I could just go swimming. But other than that, I have been pretty confident in myself.
So, like Morgan said, when I was younger, well, like all my life, I've never wanted to change my skin color, but like I've always had like hips and stuff like that. And like when I was younger, I like had thick thighs, which isn't bad, it's a really good thing, you know? And so, like, I know like like this one time, so I like ran cross country. Yes, I ran cross country when I was younger, in like first and second grade, like kindergarten and stuff. And I remember we were here for a cross country meet, and we had just finished. And this man had walked up to my mom and I think me and my brother, and he was like, "Those thighs aren't made for long distance running." And I was like, mind you, I'm like 7, so like I can't say anything to an adult. But I was like, oh really? Like, but I made it. Like I finished, and I did not come in last. I know I did come in first, but still, like I did come in last. So I'm like, what do you mean? But like I've like always wanted to change that. But like as I grow older, I like am more appreciative of it, because like it's me, and like that's how God made me, and like I'm just comfortable in my skin, comfortable being who I am, and just I love it.
It is. Actually, it's not a question. Actually, it's our way of really saying to all of you, thank you. Now, we have so much more to say. I didn't find one person asleep, so I didn't have to do my and we want to come back. So I'm not going to end by saying this is the end. We're going to end simply by saying to be continued. You stay tuned, because we want to find out more about what's on your mind. But as for me and this wonderful panel, I don't think that there could be another question that I could ask. Because I think, personally, you have brought so much clarity to a far too often fuzzy topic. And I think I have the right to say, you are beautiful. And you have come into a generation where Black is simply beautiful. To be continued. Thank you.
We will now sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. It was first performed on February 12, 1900 by 500 school children at the Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida, as part of a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The school principal, James Weldon Johnson, wrote the words, and his brothers set them to music. It was written at an important time in African American history, when Jim Crow laws were replacing slavery, and African Americans were searching for an identity. In 1919, it became the official song of the NAACP. It is often referred to as the Black National Anthem, and is sung at churches, graduations, marches, and even by Beyonce at Coachella.
The song is compelling because it acknowledges the brutalities and inhumanities of the Black experience while announcing a brighter future and belief in change. The first verse opens with optimism, praise, and freedom. The second verse reminds us never to forget the suffrage and obstacles of the past. Finally, the third verse encouraged us to meet the future and with determination, courage, faith, and trust in God. The members of the BLK, or Beyond Limits Known, will sing the first verse. After that, we invite everyone to the theater to stand and sing the final 2 verses in unity.
Every voice. facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Please join.
So we the road we trod, hither the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our parents sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in that we pray. Bless our feet, straight from the places our God where we may be. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Okay, so first I would like to thank Mrs. Betty's, Mrs. Carpenter, and for like all of their contributions and time and effort and like helping us do this assembly, even though like we had a lot of time, but like we didn't have a lot of time to do it. And then also Sister Erin Laura for like even making this assembly possible and like for actually letting us do it this year. And then we would also like to thank Dr. Myron Joyce for being open and working with us this year and also educating us in multiple ways. And for that, we will give her a token of our love for being so amazing.